God called Ezekiel to eat a scroll full of lamentations, mourning and woe, and then go speak to the rebellious sons of Israel. What were his thoughts and feelings? The Spirit lifted Ezekiel up and physically transported him to the exiles beside the river Chebar at Tel Aviv. Why was Ezekiel bitter and angry? He might be thinking, if I'm in Jerusalem, then I would be commissioned into the priesthood.
From age 30, priests entered into the service of the temple, Numbers chapter 4, verse 3.
But I'm away from Jerusalem and the temple. And now, given mission impossible, to speak to a rebellious people who would not listen to me. What a waste of my life. For 7 days, he sat among the exiles, appalled and stunned, probably saying nothing. He had eaten the scroll and had a sense of the message he was to communicate to the people. He was disappointed by his call and shocked by his responsibility. But the hand of the Lord was strong on him, enabling and strengthening him. At the end of 7 days, the word of the Lord came to him, spelling out his role and responsibility. God was appointing Ezekiel to be a watchman to the house of Israel. In biblical times, watchmen were stationed on a city wall to warn of impending danger from the outside and from within. Thus Ezekiel was to warn the wicked to turn from their sin. But he must also warn the righteous, those who obey the covenant, not to turn from it and disobey God. And if Ezekiel failed to warn them, then their blood would be on his hands. God was telling Ezekiel, "Do it, if not, I will hold you accountable. You are responsible for your duty to warn the people." However, Ezekiel wasn't responsible for their response to his warning. The judgment of the wicked and the righteous that God was talking about was an earthly judgment of a physical nature, life and death. He wasn't speaking about eternal judgment of the soul. Is there a principle that we can draw from the calling of Ezekiel as a watchman? A principle that I derive from the calling of Ezekiel to be a watchman is: I'm responsible for my actions, but not for your response. The converse is: I'm not responsible for your action, but I'm for my response. What are some areas of possible application of these principles? When I left full-time ministry, some unkind words were said of me. My contributions to the ministry were unappreciated. They were depreciated. I was deeply hurt. I'm not responsible for what this brother said of me, but I'm responsible for my response to his words. What did I do? I confronted him, but he claimed that he cannot remember what he said. What could I do? Nothing. I'm not responsible for his response. Often I come up with ideas to do things more effectively, make life and ministry easier. An ex-colleague called me Xiao Ding Dang, also known as Doraemon. Doraemon is a Japanese cartoon character, a male robotic earless cat that travels back in time from the 22nd century. Doraemon has a magic pocket from where he can pull out gadgets to solve problems. I'm efficient and work fast. So when inefficiency is imposed upon me, I get irritated. I also think and plan ahead. So whenever immediate demands are placed on me and cause disruption in my life, I show a black face. I did not see my lack of self-control as my problem. My reaction is justified. It is always triggered by others. There was an occasion when I realized that I'm giving the devil a foothold through this weakness. I cannot control the actions of others, but I can control my response. I'm to yield my feelings and my reactions to the control of the Spirit.
This is an ongoing battle in my life. At the end of 7 days, God told Ezekiel to go out to the plain. Here Ezekiel again saw the glory of the Lord, like the glory he saw by the river.
Why was there a need for a repeat vision? Probably because Ezekiel needs persuasion. Convincing to take up the challenge to be a watchman to the sons of Israel. Ezekiel was told to go home and shut himself up in it. God warned him that the Jewish people would bind him with ropes so that he could not go out, perhaps to prevent him from preaching his message of judgment. However, there is no record of that happening. Ezekiel was to speak whenever he had a message from the Lord. At other times, he was to be silent, for they are a rebellious people.
Proverbs 9, verses 7 to 8 states, "He who corrects a scoffer gets dishonor for himself, and he who reproves a wicked man gets insults for himself. Do not reprove a scoffer, or he will hate you. Reprove a wise man, and he will love you."
As we shall see, Ezekiel was also to be a sign for the house of Israel. Chapter 12, verse 6. Ezekiel would perform charades or action sermons to communicate God's message to the people, who would not listen to verbal sermons.
In some situations, Ezekiel would be an example to the people, who were to do what he had done. Chapter 24, verse 24.
Are you considering a challenge? Is it a burden that God is consistently laying upon your heart? Is it something that is daunting, difficult? Is it in line with God's plan for the world?
If your answers are yes, then remember Ezekiel's obedience to God, making sacrifices and setting aside his preferences. And God will help you. For the eyes of the Lord move to and fro throughout the earth, that he may strongly support those whose heart is completely his. 2 Chronicles, chapter 16, verse 9.